Well, hey guys, welcome back to Love Truck Garage. Well, we're going to cut this front end off today and get moving on this project. Let's go. Just a real quick update on my 72. We're sporting four-wheel disc brakes now, and everything's working great. And glad to have it back on the road. It's been a long time. I'll definitely be going for a cruise after a while. Alright guys, before we get started, I just wanted to show you a little of the preparation to make a tilt front end, and these are the things that I've done in advance to my 72, thinking ahead that someday I would do this. First thing was relocated the battery to the back, and as you see, there's nothing on that firewall. The only thing left to move would be the overflow bottle, and that could go down there somewhere when I get to that. And then on this side, the only wiring left in this fender is for the turn signal and the side marker light, and that will be run along the frame eventually when the time comes. Now on this side, again, it's just the headlight wiring is there, but it will all be moved down to the frame when the time comes. Now, until I did this brake booster upgrade, I had a little bit more room over here, but we're going to wind up probably trimming the inner fender well right along here to clear everything. And last but not least, the fuse block. What I've seen done on other trucks is they move that down and mount it vertically on the firewall, and that's probably what I'll end up doing. I'll make probably some kind of waterproof enclosure for it at that time, but that's the easiest way without rewiring the whole truck, and maybe that's what I should do anyway. Then the last thing over here is I've got my relays, and my intention is to maybe put them a little bit lower and then extend the wires and have enough wire there so they could flip forward with the front end without causing any binding. So that's a lot of the stuff I've done already. And then also the radiator, as you see, it's mounted on the bottom, and the only top mounts are right here. That's the only thing touching that radiator on the whole front end. So down here you see I've got it mounted at the bottom. So the only thing I'm really going to have to do is I can get rid of all this and put up some side mounts to the frame, and then this front will be completely independent. It won't be holding the radiator in at all. So that's the stuff I've done on this truck, preparing to someday do it. Now we're going to go over to the 78, and we're going to do it in real time. Alright guys, as you can see on this truck, I've already pulled everything I can off of the fender wells, and coil is, the screws are all stripped out. I can't get them off. I'm going to cut that off later. Same with the regulator. On this here, you've got the brake proportioning valve mounted right there on the fender. My hopes is that once I get this off the fender well out of the way, I can form this up and make it more vertical over here. So I've got this bolt and this bolt to take out, and then we're ready to start cutting. So let's do it. Alright, I'm going at it with my saber saw and a fresh blade, and it cuts through that sheet metal like butter. I didn't even try to get those rusty bolts off that core support. I just cut them right off. I did use a fresh blade though, and it was no problem. And just like that, it's busted loose, just sliding it off the end of the truck. I did miss one clamp on the clutch cable, but out she comes. Now I can get to that coil and regulator and get them off the inner fender wells. On the regulator, I wound up grinding the bolts off the back side of the fender well. Next, I spent a little time stripping that engine down, getting ready to pull it out. I kept a box of parts I might use for the four-wheel drive, and the rest of it I threw away. So there it is, all pulled apart. I'll have to figure out how much I want to trim those inner fender wells, but it's a start. I plan on getting this engine and trans pulled out. If you're anywhere near me and you'd like a spare engine, go ahead and hit me up. I'll be happy to give it to you. When I first got this truck, when you pulled out the dipstick, it was like a drinking fountain with water coming out, so just a note, it's probably just good for parts. So I set up all the parts in the bed, and I put a few bolts in the fenders and laid the hood up on top, and that gives you an idea of what it's going to look like. I do have a better hood that I'll probably end up using. And now I'm going to start hunting down some hinges. I've seen all different types used, and we'll see what I can find locally. Once the fenders are bolted to the inner fender wells, I'll be bolting the hood to the fenders and making it a solid piece. I'm sure I'll have to make some inner supports to kind of stiffen it up overall, and we'll see when I get there. No real surprises so far. I swear I've done this in my head about 400 times. I'm sure it would be a lot more stressful if I was doing this to my 72. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today. I do appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe. And a big shout out to Deadbeat Garage and his DB fam. A lot of new subscribers in the last week or so. And I do appreciate it. We'll see you next time. New for 2024, the Surf Wagon design at lovetruckgarage.com.